Hello, brothers and sisters. I want to see if you can recognize these patterns. I've been seeing a lot of them as of late, all around, but first let's see about patterns in Rorschachs.
Take a look at this image. What might this be? A frightening monster? Two friendly bears? Or something else entirely? For nearly a century, 10 ink blots like these have been used as what seems like an almost mystical personality test. Long kept confidential for psychologists and their patients, the mysterious images were said to draw out the workings of a person's mind. But what can ink blots really tell us, and how does this test work? Invented in the early 20th century by Swiss psychiatrist Hermann Rorschach, the Rorschach test is actually less about the specific things we see and more about our general approach to perception. As an amateur artist, Hermann was fascinated by how visual perception varies from person to person. He carried this interest to medical school, where he learned all our senses are deeply connected. He studied how our process of perception doesn't just register sensory inputs, but transforms them. And when he started working at a mental hospital in eastern Switzerland, he began designing a series of puzzling images to gain new insight into this enigmatic process. Using his inkblot paintings, Rorschach began quizzing hundreds of healthy subjects and psychiatric patients with the same question: what might this be? However, it wasn't what the test subjects saw that was most important to Rorschach, but rather how they approached the task. Which parts of the image did they focus on or ignore? Did they see the image moving? Did the color on some inkblots help them give better answers or distract and overwhelm them? He developed a system to code people's responses, reducing the wide range of interpretations to a few manageable numbers. Now he had empirical measures to quantify all kinds of test takers: the creative and imaginative, the detail-oriented, the big-picture perceivers, and flexible participants able to adapt their approach. Some people would get stuck, offering the same answer for multiple blots. Others gave unusual and delightful descriptions. Responses were as varied as the ink blots, which offered different kinds of perceptual problems, some easier to interpret than others. But analyzing the test taker's overall approach yielded real insights into their psychology. And as Rorschach tested more and more people, patterns began to pile up. Healthy subjects with the same personalities often took remarkably similar approaches. Patients suffering from the same mental illnesses also performed similarly, making the test a reliable diagnostic tool. It could even diagnose some conditions difficult to pinpoint with other available methods. In 1921, Rorschach published his coding system alongside the 10 blots he felt gave the most nuanced picture of people's perceptual approach. Over the next several decades, the test became wildly popular in countries around the world. By the 1960s, it had been officially administered millions of times in the US alone. Unfortunately, less than a year after publishing the test, Hermann Rorschach had died suddenly. Without its inventor to keep it on track, the test he had methodically gathered so much data to support began to be used in all sorts of speculative ways. Researchers gave the test to Nazi war criminals, hoping to unlock the psychological roots of mass murder. Anthropologists showed the images to remote communities as a sort of universal personality test. Employers made prejudiced hiring decisions based on reductive decoding charts. As the test left clinics and entered popular culture, its reputation among medical professionals plummeted, and the blots began to fall out of clinical use. Today, the test is still controversial, and many people assume it has been disproven. But a massive 2013 review of all the existing Rorschach research showed that when administered properly, the test yields valid results, which can help diagnose mental illness or round out a patient's psychological profile. It's hardly a standalone key to the human mind. No test is, but its visual approach and lack of any single right answer continue to help psychologists paint a more nuanced picture of how people see the world.
So, how do we form memories and interpret reality? Well, it's based upon what you see from the time of your birth And when you're a baby, your mom and dad gives you little toys so you can play around with them, see different colors, get to know different shapes and sizes and what goes with what. And then when you grow older, you get all these different experiences by interacting with other kids. Sometimes you hurt yourself, you learn pain, and then you go bike riding, and then you associate that with pain, and congratulations, you formed a new memory. And then you might get really good and proficient at it, and you're able to do all these tricks. And so then you recognize bike riding with getting hurt and doing tricks. So you associate these things all together as one now. Congratulations, you formed multiple memories and have neuroplasticity. So it always comes from one after another. You go from bike riding to hurting yourself to becoming proficient and learning tricks. This is an association. And so kids, they watch a lot of cartoons when they're young, and they learn a lot from the cartoons and what they associate with. And a lot of them are nowadays on the phone looking at Disney shows. And a lot of kids, they associate Disney and they want to be like their idols. And so there's these monkeys say, see no evil, hear no evil, and do no evil. The three monkeys depict see no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil. So in 1979, there was the Dukes of Hazzard show, and a lot of people were crazy about it. The Zennials, 1977. So they have these bubblegum, Dukes of Hazzard, blue and yellow, and then you see this other bubblegum with blue and yellow color. So what do you associate bubblegum with? Childhood. And in childhood, you see these children with blue and yellow blowing bubblegum. So the main star of the Dukes of Hazzard was Daisy Duke. And a lot of people looked at her Daisy Duke pants, which are very short. And a lot of young boys become infatuated with her Daisy Duke pants. They're very short. So Daisy Dukes reminds you of daisy flowers, right? And there's this woman wearing a daisy flower with butterflies and Daisy Dukes. So you see the butterfly reminds me of the Rorschach test, right? And in Hollywood, they are trying to do this with the different symbols. So can you spot these patterns? Let's do a little Blue's Clues. So you got the blue and yellow bubblegum, you got the blue and yellow Masonic, blue and yellow Daisy Duke bubblegum, and you see Daisy Dukes right there. So you associate the Daisy Dukes bubblegum with this Hollywood star doing the Daisy Dukes, washing a car seductively, and you see these kids with blue and yellow blowing bubblegum, and the teenager wearing Daisy Dukes. Now you see this seductive Hollywood woman washing her car, bubblegum, a teenager wearing Daisy Dukes, and then you see young girls wearing Daisy Dukes. And you see bubblegum, blue and yellow, Daisy Dukes, seductive woman washing a car, and then you see another seductive woman washing a car in Daisy Dukes. Now you see Britney Spears blowing bubblegum, a Hollywood star seductively washing a car, another woman in Daisy Dukes seductively washing a car, and you see a kid in Daisy Dukes washing a car. So do you see the pattern? Okay, so Disney Junior released this show with a little princess with a tiara, and the name of the show is called Sophia the First. And in this show, there's a lion with this symbol on his cheek, and this symbol is interesting because there's a female one that has a symbol kind of like that, but this symbol represents, well, that logo right there, and it represents young boy love and a symbol for all these people who like young kids. And they have this underground network, and then so you see this tiara reminds you of the heart symbol in Disney, and so Disney is actually Freemasonic. Walter Disney was a Freemason, and all these words come up with that. And see the blue and yellow with the Freemasonry. So you see the Freemasonry, blue and yellow bubblegum, kids wearing blue and yellow, blowing bubblegum, and then blue and yellow double bubble. So Walter Disney was a Freemason. You see the Masonic stamp just right there. So you see blue and yellow, Disney Masonic stamp, a girl wearing Daisy Duck, and then a girl wearing Daisy with Daisy Dukes. And so you see Daisy Duke, woman wearing Daisy Dukes with a daisy, a girl wearing daisies, and then a girl wearing Daisy Duck with the word love and a heart on it. So there was a show called Watchmen, and its color pattern was blue and yellow, just like blue and yellow. And there was this character named Rorschach, and his main character was a Rorschach test, and he wore this mask with the Rorschach. So here's this.
I was investigating a kidnap case. Blair Roach, 6-year-old girl. I was young then, too soft on criminals. I let them live. Broke a man's arm to get a tip. Led me to the missing girl's location. I knew the girl was here. But when I searched the place, I saw nothing. And then I found her.
Bark for Daddy.
It was dark when the murderer got back. As dark as it gets.
There! Who is it? Who is it? Ow! What? What? What the? Who the are you? What do you want? You killed my dogs, man. You think I had something to do with that girl? I found that! What evidence have you got? That's nothing. Okay. I confess. I kidnapped her. I killed her. Arrest me. What? Arrest me! I did it! I said I did it! Christ! I've got a problem, man. Take me in. I need help. No, don't do that! Take me in! No! No!
Men get arrested. Dogs get put down. Warm blood splashed my face. Whatever was left of Walter Kovacs died that night with that little girl.
So Walter Kovacs, like Walt Kovacs, is a code for Walter, like Walter Disney, with the Masonic, with the blue and yellow, who also encodes that with those symbols.
From then on, there was only Rorschach. See, Dr. God didn't kill that little girl. Fate didn't butcher her, and destiny didn't feed her to those dogs. God saw what any of us did that night. He didn't seem to mind. From then on, I knew. God doesn't make the world this way. We do.
B1:15, Colossians 1:15, quote, "The Son of God is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation, Yeshua Hamashiach, Jesus Christ." And Kovacs is a code for you-know-what. there's a reason why when you look up reality, it only shows virtual reality now, and there's this stock photo with the kids in the cartoons with that spiral, the same symbol as that, and then this guy doing the 666 hand sign with the spiral in the stock photos, and the devil horns with the spiral, and this girl with the spiral doing the devil horns, and then the World Economic Forum doing the vaccine with the DNA with 66.6% efficacy. So Jesus is the truth, he's the life, ask him into your heart to be reborn, so he'll forgive your sins. All right, amen, God bless.